in my stance, eye cover will look like this. My body is split in half. Shield covers this half. Sword blocks cover this half. Weight distribution on my feet is somewhere in the 70 on the back, 30 on the front range. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Okay? The biggest piece and why I break the body in half is that now we have very small movement. A block is a shrug of the shoulder. Not necessarily a roll of the arm, but it's actually a shrug of the shoulder. So if I was here, if I was blocking, it's shrug. You notice my legs dip. Okay? The whole body helps in blocking. Okay? If I'm here, I take a leg block, it's drop the shoulder, dip the legs again. Okay? You notice my whole body goes down. Okay? Now, this is the reason we do this, is that if somebody throws a fake and I roll my arm, okay, it leaves the bottom open. That makes for a big move to respond and pick that move up. If somebody fakes a leg and I roll that arm down, head's open. But if I'm down already, I can take the block for the leg and recover fast enough to not worry about it. So minimal movement is very important. Same on sword blocks. Sword blocks occur right on the top of your basket as much as possible. Sword blocks, it's drop of the arm. Picks these up. Roll of the shoulder, picks a wrap. All you do is you turn that shoulder back. Okay? Sword's already here. Someone's throwing flat, you pick it up. But they're small movements. Now the key here is that your sword is slightly forward. Elbow slightly out. Not like this. Okay? Because if I'm like this, I get hit. It's dipped under your arm a little, and you're here. Now, this helps a lot with Florentine, because now you have two blocks. Now you can wait for the person to help make a mistake and then take advantage of that, instead of one block, one offensive technique. From side, you'll see my hips stay under me at all times. My body rolls on top of my hips. From side, it looks like this. Okay? That shoulder is dropped back into the arm. It's not out here. It's dropped. It's a very passive style. Again, you notice I can pretty much lift my front foot at any time. Sometimes my leg blocks are actually that. Okay? And back from the other side, and then I'll show you the reasons. Again, I can lift my foot. I'm here. That's a head block. That's a leg block. What you're going to see next is going to be the fake. Let's switch sides for a second. Why don't you go ahead, fake to the leg, go to the head. Okay? You notice that there's very little movement involved in most of that, and that's very important because if I overreact and I drop for that fake to the leg and he's rising, then all of a sudden I have a big movement. If I'm standing there waiting, if I don't duck and the legs don't go with me, this is what I end up leaving. Go ahead. All right? But by ducking, I'm pulling two targets out of zone. And it allows me to watch my opponent and what he does while he's throwing that and the openings that he's creating. I'm going to have him go ahead and get in your stance. Okay? Now, one big thing right off the bat, he's probably carrying, as his back foot's fully back, you can see the angle on the back leg. His hips are centered over his center. It's not a terrible thing. It actually provides more stability in your fight. If you're fighting larger people, so oftentimes you need that. His weight distribution actually, his shield and sword shapes were in good. Weight distribution limits his movement. he has to shift before advancing on me, which allows me to see him throw prior to him doing it. Also, range. Go ahead, get in your stance. And we'll go through more of this in a little bit, but this is his range. Lean forward, try to hit me. That is his range. Now, we're at the same. This is mine. Reason being is just rolling over your hips. You notice, once again, I roll over that leg. So my maximum range can actually be out here. Weights on that back, shift forward, and throw. I'm going to make an adjustment on his stance just so that at practice you can remember it or help other people try it. Okay? Get in your stance. Now what I want you to do is I want you to turn this on a 45, and I want you to essentially put your foot, there you go, put the foot up, set it down, put about 20% on her. Okay, now he's set. You'll notice one of the big pieces is that you want to make sure on your foot when you're in here, thanks to training from a number of other highly skilled fighters in our, actually out west, try to fit a 2x4 laying on the ground. So if you have duct tape on the floor, one foot goes on one side, the other foot goes on the other. Okay, this allows for better balance. Here, if I'm in front and my back line crossing, it becomes a little difficult. You want a good solid base. Okay, we want that 2x4 in there. And there's some very good practice exercises. I'll show you how we can do those later. Ready? Let's get back in that shape. There we go. Now, you can ask him, this takes a lot of strength in the back leg. It won't be comfortable for the first number of weeks. In the future, though, that leg will develop just as anything else that you practice hard at, and it will become just second nature. One thing that by applying the weight to the back legs and helps with the block is he can essentially take his head away far faster now. Okay? Because now he's just bending over that leg. Now he can shift around instead of being centered and trying to pull. Go ahead, get your feet back into your normal stance. There we go. I'm going to throw at the head. Drop your shield for a second. Okay? One of the best blocks I always say is no block at all. In other words, don't be there. Okay? I'm going to throw a head shot. He's just going to take his head away. I'm going to throw it at about half speed. All right, you notice he can take that head away. But if I extend, go ahead, take it away better. Okay? He can't get nearly his back as far as he wishes. Now, switch your stance. Okay, shield down. Now I just want you to kick your hips out when I throw. Okay? His weight is already over the back leg, which allows for some flexibility. If, when I'm standing here, what's happening is your hips come forward and shifts over your back leg. This is a good practice exercise for the balance of your feet is, go ahead, stand right here. Stand with a partner, get in our modified stance, and drop your shields, and just throw 50, go about half speed at first. Throw shots so your opponent can get used to shifting. Okay? And then build up. Okay? And get closer. Okay? Just kick that hip out. Okay? Kick the hip out. Okay? Go ahead. Okay. This teaches you two things. It teaches you how to dodge, how to get out of something. It also teaches you to read your opponent and when he's throwing a shot. Judging when your opponent's going to do something is very important in this game, especially when you're getting into advanced techniques.